Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And that bridge has to be built long before you need to cross it. If you wait until the day you're under pressure, you'll find yourself standing at the river's edge with nothing but excuses. But if you've been building discipline daily, when the day comes, you can walk across with confidence. That's the difference discipline makes. Think about the little things. Skipping the gym doesn't break you today. Ignoring that book you promised yourself you'd read doesn't ruin you tomorrow. But over time, the habit of skipping becomes your character. And when real pressure comes, you'll find yourself fragile. On the other hand, if you honor your commitments, no matter how small, you're educating your mind to stay steady. You're building toughness one decision at a time. And soon enough, when the world tries to push you around, it discovers you're not so easy to move. Discipline teaches restraint. A tough mind isn't just about pushing harder. It's about knowing when not to give in. Think of all the temptations life throws at us. Laziness, anger, indulgence, distraction. Every time you choose restraint, you build strength. It's like lifting a weight. You resist, and resistance makes you stronger. The man who learns to discipline his appetite, his temper, his tongue, that man becomes unshakable. Because no matter what happens outside of him, he can govern himself. And the one who can govern himself cannot be broken easily. And let me be the first to tell you, if you didn't already know, discipline isn't glamorous. It's rarely exciting. It's not about big speeches or dramatic acts. It's about quiet consistency, waking up, following through, showing up day after day. That's how toughness is built. Not in one big heroic moment, but in 1,000 small choices no one notices. But while no one else may notice, your mind does, and it's keeping score. Every act of discipline reinforces your strength. Every act of neglect erodes it. And when life applies pressure, that score gets revealed. So if you want a tough mind, begin with discipline. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're laying another layer of armor. Every time you resist the easy way, you're forging another link in your chain of strength. And soon enough, when the world comes to test you, you'll discover that you don't break. You bend, you endure, you stand tall. That's what discipline does. It prepares you not just to survive pressure, but to thrive under it.
I would say, well, with one of our services, for our lawn care services, we have tripled our client base, and that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And they're repeat clients. They keep coming back. So that's way exciting.
Like I said, we didn't understand all the processes at first, and now that we're using them and we're using them on a daily basis, it's really helped us out a lot. My name is Kelly Cully, and our company name is Purple Cow Junk Removal and Purple Cow Junk Removal and Home Services.
Hi, I'm Tamara Malott, and our company name is Purple Cow Junk Removal and Home Services.
Well, I would say, I was a little skeptical at first, and then we came to your show in December of last year, and it was eye-opening. It changed how we ran the business, how we thought out to run the business.
What's it like having a team that helps you that you know is going to be a flat rate per month?
Well, I don't think we would have gotten as far as we have without you guys. And yeah, there's no hidden fees. I haven't come across any bills that I didn't know I was paying out for you guys. So, I mean, it's straightforward what the fee is. You guys have been so helpful with our website, helping us get our systems together, helping us with our workflow. No surprises, no catch.
And you guys were telling me it's purplecowjunkremoval.com, purplecowjunkremoval.com. You were pointing out that you guys are able to generate more income now in a month than you used to be able to generate in a year. So I'm going to start with you, Kelly. What has that meant for your family, being able to generate more revenue now in a month than you used to be able to generate in maybe a year previously?
Oh, it's great. We've been able to help my daughter out with schooling more. We've been able to just have more financial freedom.
Tamara,
So,
you maybe explain, because we've had the opportunity to work with you as a consultant and coaching service to kind of, guide you down the path. So it's always rewarding for us to hear from people like you. How would you describe the process of working with a coaching team on a weekly basis to guide you down the path?
It has been phenomenal. When we first started with Purple Cow, we didn't have any idea about processes and what we needed to streamline our business. And then after working with Thrive, we not only know how to streamline our processes, but we know what they are and we know what they mean to our business. And you guys have been absolutely wonderful to help us through that.
Well, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're interviewing a success story. These are people that had an idea, they turned the idea into reality, and now they're here. These are real people. They probably listened to this podcast one too many times, and they said, okay, we'll reach out, we'll take action, and they've gone from a goal, maybe a dream, to a goal into actual success. They've done it. They've turned the idea into success. They're here. They're from Ames, Iowa. So if you're watching today's show and you're looking for a hookup for rhubarb, or for anybody who can give you a tour of Ames, Iowa. I know a lot of people like to go to Iowa for tourism needs. You're going to love today's guests, Kelly and Tamara. Kelly, welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you?
good. How you doing, Clay?
I'm fired up to be here with you. Tamara, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you, Clay.
Okay, I'm going to go back and forth between you two, kind of tap into your collective wisdom here. So, Kelly, first off, so people can prove that you're real and you're not a hologram, what is your first and last name, and what's the name of your company?
My name is Kelly Cully, and our company name is Purple Cow Junk Removal, and Purple Cow Junk Removal and Home Services.
Now, Tamara, again, please feel free to one-up them so people can prove you're not a hologram. What is your first and last name, and what's the name of your company?
Hi, I'm Tamara Malott, and our company name is Purple Cow Junk Removal and Home Services.
Now, I'm going to pull up your website because we were having a great conversation this weekend, and you guys were telling me it's purplecowjunkremoval.com, purplecowjunkremoval.com. You were pointing out that you guys are able to generate more income now in a month than you used to be able to generate in a year. So I'm going to start with you, Kelly. What has that meant for your family, being able to generate more revenue now in a month than you used to be able to generate in maybe a year previously?
Oh, it's great. We've been able to help my daughter out with schooling more. We've been able to just have more financial freedom.
Tamara,
So,
you maybe explain, because we've had the opportunity to work with you as a consultant and coaching service to kind of, guide you down the path. So it's always rewarding for us to hear from people like you. How would you describe the process of working with a coaching team on a weekly basis to guide you down the path?
It has been phenomenal. When we first started with Purple Cow, we didn't have any idea about processes and what we needed to streamline our business. And then after working with Thrive, we not only know how to streamline our processes, but we know what they are and we know what they mean to our business. And you guys have been absolutely wonderful to help us through that.
Now, Kelly, I got to ask you this. There's somebody out there watching today's show. My dad, he used to deliver pizzas at Domino's. He worked at Quick Trip, and may he rest in peace. And I honestly, I'm super appreciative that my father did what he could do to provide for us. But he never really did figure out, how to achieve financial success. He just never was able to do it. What would you say to somebody out there that hasn't been to one of our workshops yet, or hasn't experienced what the coaching has made? Because I always, whenever I'm helping guys like you, I'm always trying to help. I always kind of picture like I'm helping my dad, somebody who like wants to do well and just needs somebody to help him. How would you describe maybe the impact it's made on you guys?
well, I would say, I was a little skeptical at first, and then we came to your show in December of last year, and it was eye-opening. It changed how we ran the business, how we thought out to run the business. Preventative, processes and all that.
What are all the services that you provide there, Tamara? Like, what are the services you guys provide at purplecowjunkremoval.com?
Here at purplecowjunkremoval.com, we provide junk removal, handyman, snow removal, lawn care, and landscaping services.
Okay, so you provide quite a bit. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up what we call the workflow. So for anybody who's a new client into our system, we're going to guide you down this path. And I really wanted to see if you guys could explain to us how you've been able to go down that path. And then I'm going to have a few members of our team that can hop on and maybe interrogate you a little bit about it. So step number one, you got to know your revenue goals. And I know when I sit down with business owners or potential business owners, 100% of the time, they really don't have their goals in focus. They typically have the idea of, hey, I want to become successful, but they typically don't have it broken down into like a weekly revenue goal or a daily revenue goal. What kind of an impact has it made on your life there, Kelly, having these goals in place?
It's helped a lot. Like I said, we didn't understand all the processes at first, and now that we're using them and we're using them on a daily basis, it's really helped us out a lot.
Now, Tamara, the next box here as we take people down this workflow, box number 2 is you got to know your break-even point. You have to know how much stuff you have to sell to break even, and really you have to have a tracking sheet. And most people I know do not have a tracking sheet. They just don't. They do not have a tracking sheet. They don't track their income. They don't track their expenses. And so the idea of having a tracking sheet can be abnormal, unusual, and typically entrepreneurs will tell me, well, my accountant handles that, or my bookkeeper handles that. How important is it for you there, Tamara, to have a tracking sheet where you know what your income is and where you know where your expenses are?
It's imperative to have that tracking sheet. It shows you what you need to make it through the week and to keep going, just the bare minimum. And once you can understand that bare minimum, you can grow from that. And you guys helped us figure out where that was, what our break-even point was, so that we could grow, so that we could nail our system, so we could scale it.
Now, Kelly, I want to ask you, I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I just want to ask this question here. The number of hours you're willing to work, so like in my case, what I do is I have a very predictable schedule. I basically go from, like let's go 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I just do it every day. And that's what I do. And then Sundays, I try to change that a little bit, try to take the day off, take the kids to church, do that kind of thing. But I have a schedule that works for my wife and I. So it's very normal for me to go to bed at 9, very normal for me to wake up at 3. I just have a very normal schedule, but that's not normal for most people that are used to working 40 hours a week or 35 hours a week. And you as a couple, you have to agree on that schedule. So I want to ask you this, as you're growing the company and you're having unbelievable amounts of leads now, you're generating leads, people are reaching out to you every day wanting to hire your services. How important was it, or how important is it for you and your wife to continually look at that schedule and adjust it to make sure that you're on the same page in terms of the number of hours per week that you're willing to work?
Well, it's not always the easiest. Right now, I know we put in, we don't leave the office most days until 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So we're here a good 12 hours a day.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's
worth it. We've been together 25 years almost, and we've been through a lot. So yeah, we make it work.
Now, Tamara, moving on to the next box here, you have to have your unique value proposition. You have to have a way. You're not the only company in America, this just in. You're not the only company in America, this just in, to do junk removal. But yet we have to make sure that you stand out in that clutter of commerce, that people remember you, they remember the company. And so the company name itself, Purple Cow Junk Removal, that stands out. But how would you describe, Tamara, what it is that you do differently from other junk removal companies that are in Iowa?
Let's see, what we would do differently, or what we do differently is, our unique power to offer the services to the client. Not only those services, is to go behind the services and to make sure they're happy with every bit of what we do. The quality assurance means a lot to us. So if they're not happy, we're not happy. And if they're not happy, we're going to fix it.
Now, Kelly, the branding thing, so many people, they reach out to us and they go, Clay, I've seen the success of brands you've worked with. I've seen oxyfresh.com. I've seen, clients tell me this all the time. This is how our calls go. People say, hey, look, I went to thrivetimeshow.com. I looked up your case studies. I've seen these companies you've worked with, and they'll say, I'm familiar with OxyFresh. I know you've worked with those guys for 15 plus years. I know there's 500 locations, and they say, hey, I know you worked with Tip Top Canine to help them franchise. And they'll go, wow, I know you've done that. I know you helped grow Tip Top Canine from one location to 18 locations. They say, hey, I know you've worked with Beverly Hills Precious Metals to help them scale. And they'll say that, but then they'll go, yeah, but my industry, it's a little different. And I'm in Iowa, and I don't know that I have what it takes. And I don't have a website. I don't have business cards, and I don't have a team to help me. And I know you guys claim that you charge $1,700 a month flat rate to do the photography, the video, the web, the search engine, coach us down the path. But is there a gotcha? Is there a catch? Is there some sort of overtime fee? Do you charge per hour, per call, per email? I had one guy talk to you last week. He said that his consultant coached him and said, if you ever need something, call me throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, his consultant sent him an overage charge for over $15,000 of backdated phone calls, emails. So I wanted to ask you, could you explain to listeners out there, what's it like having a team that helps you that you know is going to be a flat rate per month?
Well, I don't think we would have gotten as far as we have without you guys. And yeah, there's no hidden fees. I haven't come across any bills that I didn't know I was paying out for you guys. So I mean, it's straightforward what the fee is.
Very
You guys have
transparent.
been so helpful with our website, helping us get our systems together, helping us with our workflow. Yeah, no surprises, no catch.
Now, Steve Jobs once said, he says, simplicity scales and complexity fails. Steve Jobs, the guy who invented the iPhone, the iMac, the iPad, things that start with an I. He's the guy who took Pixar, which is a failing company, and introduced Toy Story. Steve Jobs, the founder of the personal computer concept, Steve Jobs. He said complexity fails, but simplicity scales. And so when we work with clients such as yourselves, we want to make it into, I call it core, repeatable, actionable processes. Or the crap. We want to break it down into simple, repeatable processes, not because you're not smart, but because you are smart, and I know you're busy, and I want to build a system that is scalable. And so one thing I know that our team talks to you guys about every week, Kelly, is we got to get video testimonials. We've got to get images of projects we've done. We've got to write search engine content, and we have to get more Google reviews. Could you talk about maybe the mind freedom that it's provided, knowing that you have a checklist of things you need to do every week and you don't have a new idea every 5 minutes?
Right. I mean, we're all human. We all forget. It's nice having that checklist. I give one to my guys. They know that they got to greet the customer with a friendly smile, shake their hand. They know that they have to take notes as they walk through the job. They have to take pictures. They know that they have to be presentable in front of the client. They know it, and it's all right there on a piece of paper, 1 through 10, 1 through 20, whatever. The checklist, without it, we would fail.
One of the things that blew my mind as a kid growing up without wealth is I remember being around people that were successful, and I remember thinking, that seems so easy. Why can't we as a family do that? And so that was kind of how it started for me. I'm like, we're not doing well financially. I'll study the people who are successful, and I'll do what they're doing. And I'm sure if I do exactly what successful people are doing, I'll probably get the similar results. It was just a very similar thing. It made sense to me, but yet it was so foreign for many people around me. What do you say here, Kelly, for somebody who's watching today's show that goes, I don't know if I have what it takes to implement this system and to become successful, regardless of what industry they're in?
Well, Clay, I could say I grew up a lot like you did. My mom lived on welfare my whole life, up till I was 18. We had nothing growing up, so that's Purple Cow means a lot to me. I want to be able to give back to the community. I'm sorry, I kind of went off the question here, but this is kind of an emotional thing for me.
Yeah, but this is real because
I grew up without nothing. Everything I ever wanted, I either had to work for. I started working at 14 because I was tired of being broke. And then just from there, I mean, if you have a dream, follow that dream. I got the opportunity to purchase Purple Cow from Josiah, and I felt like it was just a blessing from God. And I will not and cannot, or cannot and will not fail at Purple Cow.
Tamara, what kind of growth have you been able to have in the past year for anybody? Just as far as maybe if maybe it's a percentage, or maybe it's like 5 times or 2 times more, or 1% growth. How would you describe how much growth you've been able to have in the last 12 months?
I would say, well, with one of our services for our lawn care services, we have tripled our client base, and that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And they're repeat clients. They keep coming back. So that's way exciting.
What would you say, Kelly, in terms of growth, if you had to say like a multiple or a number? Because so many people watch this show and they're like, yeah, did they grow by 1% or 2%?
I'd say we've grown at least, compared to last year, we have probably grown at least 20, 30% easily.
Yeah. And so again, so the lawn care side's up 3 times, overall growth 20, 30%, somewhere on that range.
And as the years go by, we're going to learn more and grow it more. I mean, 100% is our goal.
Yeah. Now the next box number 7 here. Again, for anybody out there watching today's show, box number 6, you've got to create a 3-legged marketing stool. You say, what does that mean? We've got to create a system that is implementable, that will generate leads from your ideal and likely buyers. We have to create a system that is implementable, that you can actually do, that you can apply, that will help you reach your ideal and likely buyers. Now, box number seven is we have to create sales systems, which means sales scripts, recorded calls, sales presentation materials, perhaps business cards, perhaps one sheets, perhaps auto wraps. Kelly, how does it feel knowing you have a team that can make this stuff whenever you need it? How has that impacted you knowing, hey, I've got a team. If I ever need to make something, they got it.
Oh, it's great. It's a lift off the shoulders. Let me tell you. We use our website or Google alone generates most of our leads. We rarely have to use local service ads. Our website gets us leads, God, enough to keep us so busy. Right now, we have our one sheets, we have our business cards, we have our signs, door hangers.
And you guys, they did that.
Right now we have put our ad out with the Iowa State football schedule. So we have a little ad on the Hawkeyes, or no, it's not Hawkeyes, gotta get shot.
Oh my goodness.
Cyclones.
You guys
Cyclones.
just beat South Dakota yesterday, right?
I believe so.
Okay, yes. I believe so. This just in. Fun factoid. Now, next update here for your next step is you have to know what it costs you to get a new customer. And this is a thing that you guys, through the tracking sheet, you know that. But again, for anybody who's watching today's show, maybe this resonates with you, maybe it doesn't. I have a haircut chain called Elephant in the Room, and it costs me approximately $20 to give you your first haircut for $1. That's what it costs me to give you your first haircut for $1. And I know that number because if I don't wow you and you don't come back again, it's not sustainable. It's not profitable, but we're willing to spend the money on. You say, where do we spend the money? We do search engine domination. We do online social media ads on Facebook. We do retargeting ads. We market to current customers. So I know what it costs to get a customer. That's box number 8. Determine your sustainable customer acquisition costs. Box number 9, you got to create repeatable systems. Kelly, you're a busy person. Tamara, you're a busy person. You want to create a checklist for everything. You want to have a system for everything. To build an organization, you have to be organized. And I see so many get-rich-quick hype hucksters, people online, charlatans pitching get rich in 5 minutes, invest in this crypto coin, you'll be a billionaire by noon. I see that kind of jackassery, but at the end of the day, what makes a successful company is it's that messy middle. It's building those systems and processes. Tamara, how much of an impact has it had for you having checklists and processes in place as you continue to build more and more processes and checklists?
It frees up our time. So when we first started, we didn't have any checklists, any processes in play. And now that we do, and those processes and checklists are becoming more, not bigger, but more simple, it allows us to do the things that we need to do because we know that our techs are doing what they need to do because it's simple. It's right there for you.
The shoulder taps have been so much less frequent than they were when we started.
Yes and no.
Well, you guys just said how your systems get more simple over time. I think people need to know that. If your business is getting increasingly complex, there's something wrong. Simplicity scales. complexity fails. This just in, Steve Jobs said simplicity scales, complexity fails. What does that mean? It should be getting more simple over time, not more complex. We move on to the next box. And again, for anybody who wants to download this book for free, follow along, go to thrivetimeshow.com/free resources. Someone says, well, why would you give away all your books for free? Why would I do that? Well, again, Kelly, you know this, when you grow up poor, you want to be able to teach other people how not to be poor. If you've ever overcome poverty, you sort of view poverty as like a disease. And if you see other people struggling with the same disease, you kind of want to, give them some treatment that works. And so I make all these books available for free. You can go to thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources. But what we do here as a coaching program is we help you implement. We help you implement those systems. If you're watching today's show, you can download these books for free, and then we're going to help you implement these systems. So we move on here to box number 10. You got to manage people. This just in. You can't make your dream work unless you can make your team work. This just in. You can't make your dream work without teamwork. You have to hire people. How do you hire? How do you inspire? How do you train? How do you retain? How do you find good people? How do you hire? How do you inspire? How do you train? How do you retain? We teach all these things. I'm going to go back to you, Kelly. Most people tell me, I can't find good people. I'm in Iowa. It's too tough. There's too much rhubarb. People are distracted. People say, I can't find good people. I'm in New York. The city's falling apart. It's Sodom and Gomorrah. I can't find good people. People say, Florida, I can't find good people. It's too swampy. It's too hot, too swampy, too many alligators. Alligators are eating all the good people. People say, in Washington, I can't find good people. My governor's crazy. Can't find. People always tell me some sort of local reason why they can't find people. But I've never had a hard time finding good people. And I know that you guys are learning the same system, so you also will not have a hard time finding people. Can you talk about the implementing the hiring systems and the processes so that you don't find yourself short-staffed?
Well, we want to find people that are good fit for Purple Cow. We want to find people that are friendly, know how to talk in front of a customer. And to do that, we have weekly group interviews. I mean, they're hectic, but they're worth it. You're going to have weeks where you're going to have nobody that's just not a fit, but then you're going to have weeks where you find one or two people that are just a perfect fit for your company. So do the weekly group interviews. It's worth it.
Now we move on to box number 11, 12, and 13. And for sake of time, I'm going to go 90 miles an hour through these steps here. Box number 11, you've got to create a weekly repetitive schedule. You just have to have a schedule. You got to know, what time am I going to do the weekly group interview? What time is my staff meeting? What time? So many businesses don't have a time for to start their day. It's like in my office. We start the day at 7 every day. We have a huddle every morning. We have our weekly staff meeting every week at the same time. We do the interview at the same time. If you do not have a weekly repetitive schedule in place, it's hard to get traction in any area of your life. If you want to get good playing an instrument, you got to have time scheduled to practice. If you want to get good at a sport, you schedule time to practice. If you want to not be successful and you want your life to be perpetually stressful, don't schedule time for anything and just work off of some sort of osmosis, feeling-based, focused schedule, and then you too will experience jackassery. Box number 12, you got to create this onboarding system. Once you hire people, they have an onboarding packet, a handbook, documentation. Maybe you have a non-solicitation agreement. Maybe you have an organizational chart. We can get into that we have gotten into that on past shows, and we'll get into that on future shows. And then box number 13, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. This just in. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep, because at the end of the day, why are you building a business? You're building a business to create time freedom and financial freedom. There's 3 P's in business, 3 P's. You want to make a product that wows the customer, right? So the customer says, I always want to pay less. P number 1, the customer always wants to pay less. 2, the employees, they always want to get paid more. This just in. Every employee wants to get paid more. This just in. Every customer wants to pay less. And this just in. P number 3, profits. Nobody cares about your profits. Let me repeat that again. Pay. Every employee wants to get paid more. Price. Every customer wants to pay less. Profits. Nobody cares. Nobody's
going to care as much as you do, Clay.
Right. Yeah.
There it is. So we're going to help you through that process. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring on Levi onto the show here. So Levi is going to be on mic, but off camera. Levi, are you over there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some folks behind the Levi mic. So we're all going to kind of hop in line. Tell me your first and last name, Levi, and what question do you have here for the folks at Purple Cow? Because these guys are doing it. They've done it. What question would you have on behalf of anybody listening to today's show, Levi?
So my name's Levi Matthias, and I am 19 years old. I'd say my number one question is, how do you get past the mental barrier of, uh, basically how do you stay so consistent and get through that mental barrier of, oh, I really don't want to do this, but you do it anyway?
Kelly.
Well, you gotta get in the thought of mind that nobody else is gonna do it for you. So if you don't do it, it's not gonna get done. So you gotta push through that. I still get that gut-wrenching feeling sometimes, but I just tell myself, hey, if I ain't gonna do this, nobody else is gonna do it for me.
Right.
Well, let's go on
Awesome.
to the next question here. Let's have our next person hop on here. Tell us your first name and your last name again. These are real successful entrepreneurs. They're in the messy middle. They're building a real business. This isn't a charlatan show. This isn't a show about somebody who's somehow had an epiphany and then got to the top of the mountain through luck and entropy. No, these are real people and the real grind. The company. Everybody go to the website right now. This will help our clients rank higher in Google, by the way. Everybody go to purplecowjunkremoval.com. Purplecowjunkremoval.com. Okay, next question. What's your name? What's your first name, last name? What question do you have?
Yes, my name is Rihanna Roller, and my question for you guys is, what was the deciding factor for you to make you realize that you wanted a business coach and you wanted to be pushed harder to make your business grow?
Let's go to Tamara for this one. Coming in hot.
Alrighty. So how we decided we wanted a business coach. When we purchased Purple Cow, the gentleman that owned it before us suggested Clay and the team because he had worked with them before. And we were skeptical at first. So we went to a conference and it opened our eyes. I came back feeling like, hey, I might just have what I need to make it through. And then once we started working with Clay called us and says, oh, we'll take you on. And we started working with one of the coaches and it all worked out. It was awesome.
Cameron, I want to interject something real quick. I want a big shout out to Josiah. On part 2 of today's show, I'm going to share our interview with Josiah so everyone can meet this guy. He came to our conference in like 2018 or something, and he looked like he was born yesterday. My Hummer stopped working. So I had a Hummer I was driving at the time, and it stopped working, and he said, I could fix it. So he climbs underneath. This is a conference attendee, by the way. He climbs underneath my Hummer and then proceeds to fix the vehicle. And I'm like, what do you do? And he says, I have aspirations to start an auto lift company. And now he's gone on to build a very successful company. He's just a great guy, a really kind person. And he's the kind of guy who will get underneath your Hummer at a conference and fix the vehicle. I didn't ask him to. He had heard somehow through the conference that my Hummer quit working, and he was like, I can fix it. And he goes underneath the vehicle with his tools, fixes the vehicle. I'm not exactly sure what he did, but he made it happen. So next question, who's on the show here next? These are all wonderful people in the office. What's your first and last name? And what question do you have for Tamara here in Kelly? They're real entrepreneurs, really getting it done.
My name is Robert Brumley, and my question is this. Earlier, you spoke about the importance of your website. Could you be more specific on how that has helped you grow your business?
Kelly, going to you, sir.
Well, the testimonials have helped us a bunch. The fact that we have Clay and his team putting our video testimonials on there, our business pictures, all that they're doing for our website has really, really helped and improved our income.
I'll say this too. One thing, when I was building my first company, djconnection.com, this is a true story. I went to a web guy, and I went to the web guy. I'll tell you how I met this guy. He had built the website for Garth Brooks. And I thought, man, you can't go into Walmart without seeing Garth Brooks everywhere. If he could build the website for him, I probably want him building my website for djconnection.com. So I went to the guy and I said, I want to hire you to build my website. He said, no problem. And I said, how much is it? He says, yeah, it's about $20,000. And I'm going, whoa, because I'm working at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. But I'm going, all right, can we pay that over 12 payments? He said, yes. So I paid this guy to build the website. Very happy that he did it, by the way. I paid him to do it. And I said, I kind of want a video on my homepage. Who do you recommend for that? And he says, well, you got to go with this company. And I said, I'll probably put that on the back burner to something I'll come back to later. So anyway, so then I reached out to a business consultant to help me grow my company. And the guy, Bruce, was my business consultant. And Bruce says, Clay, you got to have a video on your website. It's killing you not to have a website. I said, who you recommend, Bruce? He recommends a guy. It's $8,000 to build the video. Now, this is on top of the 20 grand for the website. So then this is a true story. So then I'm talking to my mentor at the time, Dr. Zellner. I said, Dr. Zellner, I need more customers. He says, Clay, you got to get a Yellow Page ad. I said, a Yellow Page ad? He said, absolutely. I said, this is back when the Yellow Pages were relevant. He said, you got to do that and then advertise on the internet. I said, do you have a contact? Long story short, he connected me to a person who knew a person. I'm on the phone with Jeremy McCaslin. Jeremy McCaslin says, Clay, for $3,000 a month, a max $2,500 the entry level, you could be the top of the Yellow Pages. So you start doing all the math here, and basically every time I was getting quote unquote advice, it kept resulting in me having a bigger and bigger bill. And one of the great things that we've been able to do for great clients like yourselves is we have a whole team that does all this. So you don't have a bill every month that's a new bill for a new thing. It's a flat rate. And again, the act of building a website, it is not an event. It's a process. So bragging on the Purple Cow folks, every single week, we harass these folks, and every single week they do a great job of gathering video testimonials from real clients they've really worked with, and that really does help their real website rank higher, and it also improves the conversion rate. Another example, if you go to makeyourdogepic.com, JT Lawson and his team, he gets videos every single week from happy customers. He gathers images of happy dogs. We write search engine content. So again, if you're building a website, it is not an event. It is a process. Who's our next guest? First and last name, and what questions would you have for Kelly and Tamara? Real entrepreneurs building a real business. And again, folks, if you're keeping score at home, and I know you are, it's purplecowjunkremoval.com. What's your name? What question do you have?
Hi, my name is McKenna Breedlove, and the question I have for you guys is which out of the 14 initial steps was the hardest or most transformative to implement for your business?
All right, let's go with Tamara for this one.
I think it was figuring out what our processes were. So this had to come from many places. Kelly had worked in the field, so he knew some of them. And then I would go and I'd work in the field too. So together we would figure out what are the simple steps to get our text from point A to point B, simply, streamlined, and it took a lot.
A lot of it was trial and error.
Trial and error.
Now, Tamara, I will say this. I find that a lot of clients, they'll say, Clay, making the processes was like the biggest thing. And then I also hear people say, you know what, generating leads was the biggest thing. So I hear kind of people saying those two things. Or maybe there's two things or three things that are the biggest thing. I'm going to go to Kelly, get your thoughts. Kelly, was it processes? Was it generating leads? Was it all, or was it both of it or something else? Or
I would have to say a little bit of both. At first, it was figuring out how to get those leads. But once we started getting those leads, now we're getting daily. I mean, we're getting leads daily. So it's been
Did you
great.
have a follow-up question, McKenna, about this process? Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay, she's good. Okay, awesome. Next question coming in hot. What is your first and last name, and what question would you have here for Kelly and Tamara?
My name's Giselle Arquiza, and my question for you guys is what's the biggest challenge you guys have faced, and how did you guys and like the business coaching help you guys overcome it?
Let's go to Kelly.
Oh, I think some of the biggest right now has been managing the people. We've had to learn a lot. I went from working in the business to owning it and now working on it. And so managing people wasn't really my forte back then, but Clay's guys, they helped me, they said, hey, get some kind of merit-based pay. It's just managing people was not our strong suit at first, but Clay and his guys have kind of walked us through that. So it's gotten a lot easier.
Now, I have two final questions for you guys. Two final questions for you. One is, if you had to describe like a 30 seconds or less-ish, what makes Purple Cow? We're going to have some listeners that are going to be in Ames, Iowa. They're going to find this podcast. Kelly, why should everybody check out your company, purplecowjunkremoval.com?
We're unique. We're an honest company. We're straightforward. We give a free, no obligation quote, and we're not afraid to tell people if that's something we're not comfortable doing. And they appreciate it. They really appreciate it a lot. They like the honesty, and they love how fast we respond to them. So,
Tamara, I'm going to ask you the same question. Why should anybody, if someone stumbles across this video, they're in Ames, Iowa, why should everybody check out your company there? Again, why should everybody visit your company, purplecowjunkremoval.com?
Because they won't be disappointed. because they will get their money's worth and then some.
Bam. Okay. Final question I have here for you. For anybody who's watching today's show, who's thinking, Kelly, about going to thrivetimeshow.com, that's our website. They've gone to thrivetimeshow.com. They've seen thousands of testimonials from real people. They've seen the Eric Trump. They've seen the Robert Kiyosaki. They've seen Tim Tebow. They've seen a 20-year history, but they're like, I don't know. I mean, I know I can name my price for a conference ticket, but that seems, I don't know if that's real. And I know they do a free consultation, but I don't know if I fill out the red button. If I click the red button, I fill it out, what's going to happen? Kelly, what do you say for anybody out there who's on the fence, thinking about going with or scheduling a free consultation or visiting our workshops there at thrivetimeshow.com?
Well, when it comes to going into business, you got to take chances. So we took a chance. We were skeptical at first, and we're glad we made that leap. I mean, we've gotten so much knowledge and just on everything on how to run our business, how to keep the processes going, the checklists. What do you got to lose? I mean, you're running a business, you're taking that chance. Why not take a chance here?
Tamara, I'll ask you the same question. For anybody out there who's on the fence, they're going, I've heard about thrivetimeshow.com. I know you guys offer a scholarship ticket, so anybody can afford the conferences. I know you guys do a free consultation, but I'm on the fence. What do you say, Tamara?
I agree with Kelly. I say take the chance. You cannot make money if you don't spend money, and this is a good investment.
Guys, I'm going to pull up your website one more time for anybody out there. If you're watching today's show while driving down a gravel road while on a skateboard and you're attempting to take notes with a Sharpie, I encourage you to write that down. It's purplecowjunkremoval.com. If you're in a family, maybe suburban, maybe you're in like a Tahoe, you're driving down the road, your kids won't stop touching each other, and you're into the shoulder, boom, 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 and you're just trying to find a pen, go to purplecowjunkremoval.com. For anybody out there that's on you're parasailing right now and you're using an Etch-a-Sketch to take notes and you just can't seem to do it without it erasing itself, that's purplecowjunkremoval.com. And for anybody out there who just learns through repetition, write it down, folks. That's purplecowjunkremoval.com. Kelly, I really do appreciate you. Tamara, we really do appreciate you guys. Thank you for hopping on the show. Thank you for being diligent doers. It's an honor to serve you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank you, Clay. Have a great weekend.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Whoa.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom. Now they're here. It's the Thrivetime Show, starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zoellner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, and now we're at the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. The C's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yes, and yes. Thrive Nation, it's a very special occasion because on today's show, we're joined by a real thriver. He could be, you might say, this guy looks like a hologram. He looks like an idealized hologram. This guy could be a male model, but no, he is an actual entrepreneur, a real client, a wonderful man. We've had the opportunity to meet in person during multiple in-person workshops. He comes from the great state of Iowa. Josiah Ragsdale, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
So I got to ask you, how did you originally come in contact with us there, sir?
Actually through Spotify. Yep.
Through Spotify. Okay. Do you remember
Yep.
what you were doing on Spotify? Were you looking for business shows, or was it recommended, or how did you find the Thrive Time show?
I think I was looking for business shows because I was so at the time I was actually in school to build like custom cars, and then I was working on a dragster, and so like I was looking for some more. I didn't like I've never liked listening to music, so I was looking for either an audiobook or a podcast or something, and ran across your guys' business show because I always figured I'd open up a custom car shop, and then so that's kind of how I found you. So.
Now, for anybody out there that wants to verify that you are a real person, the website is autoliftserve.com, autolift and serve, SERV.com. Josiah, could you share with everybody out there who wants to verify you're a real person? What's your first and last name, and what's the name of your company?
Yeah, it's Josiah Ragsdale, and then the name of the company is Automotive Lift Services.
And what kind of services or solutions do you guys provide there? I think a lot of people are curious about that. What kind of services do you provide at autoliftserve.com?
Sure, sure. So kind of our main niche is obviously fixing lifts, because we generally will prioritize speed of repair. So like we offer like 48-hour repair times guaranteed. But otherwise, as far as the rest of the equipment in the shop, if it's in a shop, like in the mechanic side, whether it be exhaust ventilation equipment or air compressor equipment, we service it and sell it as well. But lifts are our main bread and butter.
Now, what I wanted to do on today's show is really brag on you and kind of go through some of the wins that we've been able to work on together, because I think sometimes when people think about a business coach or a business consultant, they may think about a motivational guy. They may think about some sort of motivational, feelings focused, almost like business therapist, but that's not what we do at all. We focus on implementing a linear path to help real business owners grow their real companies. So we're going to go through all 14 steps today. So step number 1, revenue goals. I'm not asking you to share on today's show what your yearly revenue goals are, but why is it important for you as a coaching client and a business owner? Why was it important for you to figure out how much money you needed to do per week in sales to hit your goals, and what your yearly goals actually were?
Yeah. So I mean, without knowing our yearly goal, there's no way to break down into what you need to hit per week. Because like that's a really important thing that we start with every single Monday morning, just between the my service manager here and myself, is like figuring out, okay, this is how much cash we need to break even for this week, and this is how much cash we need to break even or should need to break even next week, and then this is what we need to make a profit. And here's our goal for profit. So it's I don't know how you would stay in business without knowing it. So
Okay, so let's drill into that for a second. Are you coming to our workshop coming up here in March? Are you coming to that?
I will not be, unfortunately. No, we've got a 2-month-old baby, so he's not moving yet.
Okay, well, let me pull this up real quick so people can see that you've been to a workshop, though. So you've been to a workshop.
Yeah, yep.
And I'm just going to throw out some ideas for anybody out there watching. We have Eric Trump. That's President Trump's son will be there. Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Eric Trump obviously runs the Trump Organization. They have thousands of employees. We have Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. We have Tom Wheelwright, one of the most respected wealth consultants on the planet. And people say to me, Clay, man, that's got to be hard putting together an event like that. And I say, well, we could define hard, but I'll just tell you this. It's about $175,000 for me to put on that event. And someone says, huh? Real numbers that you put out up front. You say, where does that go to? Well, you got the president's son here, so you need security. You need great security. We need all the police and all the law enforcement to keep him safe. You've got audio and visual people that work all weekend, and they set up for the event. We've got food. Anytime you try to feed a small army of people, which will be 400 people, think about it. Even if the average person, if we only invested in $20 over 2 days to feed them, that would quickly add up. But it's not $20. So you're talking about $50 of food per person. You've got the security. Then you got the flights, the hotel, the accommodations for the various speakers. And I can go on and on boring people with details, but you end up spending quickly about $150,000 to put on the event. And so because we only sell 400 tickets, you kind of do the math and you go, okay, that's what you need to do to break even. And I think everybody out there needs to have clarity on that. You mentioned it. I want to go back to this workflow for a second. The break even point, box number 2. Most people do not know how many customers they need to break even. Why is it absolutely essential for you and for any business owner, especially at autoliftserve.com? Why is it important for you to know how much you have to sell to break even?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't break even, you're going bankrupt. So That's about as important as it gets, you know? I mean, I don't know how else to break that down.
Well, I think a lot of business owners, though, don't ever think about these things at all. I mean, I would say 99% of the wonderful doctors and dentists and lawyers and clients and automotive repair shops I've worked with, I mean, of all the clients in our portfolio, I would say 99% of them don't know their break even point before they start coaching. And I think that's so important for everybody out there to really dial into that idea. Now, the third step is you got to know how many hours per week you're willing to work. Now, you have a baby on the way. Is this baby number 1 or baby number 407? How many kids do you have?
This baby, this baby number 1.
Yeah, and I remember when I first met you, you were baby free.
Yep.
You might have even been girlfriend free. I think you came to the conference with a friend, and I think one of the work vans stopped working, and you guys helped us fix the van or got it working. And so a lot has changed in your life. Why is it important that you and your wife, you and your partner, that you guys have that you're on the same page with defining your schedule?
Oh, definitely. That's huge. Because I mean, if like we want to be happily married and have a good home for, our future kids and whatnot, because we want to have more kids too. But I mean, if I was just like always working, she would not, we probably wouldn't be married for very long. So like my curfew moved up from like 6:30 p.m. and being able to start as early as I wanted to like now I quit at 5. And then I don't get to work all day and all night on Saturdays anymore. So my Saturdays start earlier, and we've kind of changed when his bedtime is to kind of make it match too. But I mean that's really important. So
it's real stuff.
If you get divorced, you lose 50% of what you built. So too.
All right, now box number 4. Defining your unique value proposition. What is it that makes your company unique? So that's one thing we do with every client. We help you achieve that. But let's talk about autoliftserve.com. What do you guys do differently, autoliftserve.com, from your competition? What do you do that makes you unique in the world of business?
Yeah, so we guarantee that we'll fix the lift within 48 hours or it's free. Like we'll try and get people over to our maintenance plan right away. That's kind of our biggest thing because most people you go to, you're going to go ahead and you're going to call them. They're going to come out, diagnose it, bill you for that, and then they're going to order parts. You're going to go through. It's like a 30 to 60-day lead time on a lot of repairs. And kind of what we do is we'll go ahead of that and we'll go, okay, hey, for let's say $100 a month, whatever, we'll cover your lift. And then if anything breaks, we'll come out and have it fixed within 48 hours where you don't have to pay for it that month.
So again, you've thought through this, and you have a coach that works with you every week. Let's talk about this here. Moving on to box number 5, branding. That's the website, photography, video, logo, print pieces, video testimonials. How has improving your branding impacted your ability to go out there and sell in a competitive marketplace?
Oh, yeah, that's impacted a whole lot. I mean, like even when I was first showing up, like we were like right after starting up with you guys, like the difference between me going in and Dream 100 marketing beforehand and afterhand was huge. Because like before I'd go in, they'd be like, okay, this is just some guy off the street, clearly. Well, afterwards I went in, like we got into the Gabus group here in Iowa, and I was talking to one of them there, and they thought we were part of like a franchise. They were like, oh wow, are you a franchisee for this company or whatever? And I was like, that was the point that made me think like, oh wow, our branding's like really jumped quite a lot, and that's helped a lot because now they weren't as worried about like, oh, do you know specifically how you're going to fix this or what you're doing? Now it's more so like, okay, this is a legit company. We're not worried about it. Just book them.
I'm telling you, folks, people do judge a book by the cover. People do judge you based upon your branding. It's so important you nail it down. Box number 6, the 3-legged marketing stool. There's got to be a way that every business owner out there that you can stably, consistently, methodically market to your ideal and likely buyers. There's got to be a sustainable, proven way for you to market to your ideal and likely buyers. Can you talk about the impact that it's had having someone like Andrew, one of our coaches, working with you to make sure that you're diligently implementing a 3-legged marketing stool?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just having some accountability because one of ours is Dream 100 marketing, so that's pretty big where we like physically show up and keep dropping off donuts until they cry, die, or buy. But so that one's big. That's more so just the accountability of making sure we're doing it. And then obviously like getting top of Google is our other main one. And then we run a lot of retargeting ads, stuff like that. We're cranking that up. So like those are 2 boxes that I really know nothing about. And so Andrew kind of takes the whole takes everything from there. Like we have Lucky Orange on the website. Him and I go through it on our coach calls every week, and we kind of scroll through and see if there's stuff that could be have people hanging up on or getting caught on and whatnot. But that's pretty much. I mean, he's pretty much taking on all that. Like we write some content too. You guys write a ton of content. But yeah, that'd be huge. I would have no idea what the heck to do with that without you guys. So
if you didn't have a team helping you get to the top of the Google search results, A, could you do it? And then B, what kind of impact has it made on your business being top in the Google search results?
Sure. Yeah. Could I do it? I probably could. It'd be horrible though. It'd take me way longer, and cost a lot more money because I would have screwed it up royally many times. Um, the impact is huge because obviously people find us on Google. We've got like several of our largest customers have came from a simple Google search, and they're like people that we've been trying to Dream 100 market to before that for years, and they basically didn't know who we are. And then one of these days, somebody's just Googling at their company and finds us, and they book us. And that's so much easier too when they find us on Google and they call us to book it. Like it's light years easier because now it's like they're looking for us. It's not we're cold calling them and trying to get them to buy something. So it's more so like order taking at that point instead of having to sell. So I mean, it's a huge impact.
Now, next area here, and again, this is all people always say to me. They always say, Josiah. People will say to me, they'll say, Clay, what is the most important thing I need to do to grow my company? And I would respond rhetorically, not in a difficult way. I'm just saying, well, what's the most important ingredient that makes cookies? Is it butter? Is it eggs? Is it chocolate chips? They say, what? I said, well, what's the most important part of the house? I mean, is it the framing? Is it the tile? Is it the countertops? Could you skip the footings? Could you skip the rebar? Could you skip the framing? Could you skip the shingles? It's all of those things working together. And I think a lot of people really don't think about business that way because of our educational system and the biases that are presented there. So box number 7, you got to create a sales conversion system. It's a sales conversion system. You have to have a system that we're talking about scripts, recorded calls, one sheets, pre-written emails, lead trackers, tracking the results. How has tracking the results and having a turnkey system in place impacted your business?
Yeah, tracking results is absolutely huge. The lead tracker is probably the biggest, most game-changing thing we've done is with you guys, is because now we've got like one spot all of our notes are in, and it's nice and simple. We went through with Andrew, so it's just like if it's a white box, that just means we need to keep calling them. They haven't booked. If it's green, they're booked. If it's red, it's they said no. But that simplified everything. I mean that's definitely the biggest one. The script, that's kind of always a work in progress. We go through that with Andrew relatively consistently too, because there's a lot of different steps and a lot of different questions that customers have depending on what they're calling on. But it's huge without what we have now. And I would say our stuff right now is nowhere close to being done. Like it still needs a lot more revisions, but without having it right now, like we definitely would have sold the wrong equipment into many shops. And that would have been a big problem.
Now we move on here to the next box here, folks, going 90 miles an hour. This is how you do it. Box number 8. You have to determine your sustainable customer acquisition costs. What does it cost you to get a new customer? You have to know, what does it cost to obtain a new customer? Do you have a tracking sheet? Do you know how much you're spending on advertisement? You have to know that. Box number 9. You've got to create repeatable systems, processes, and file organization. Repeatable systems, processes, and file organization. Now, this is not a fitness advice to anybody out there, but I'm going to give you an example. One of my clients is unbelievably fit. I mean, this guy is looking incredible. And he made the comment to me years ago. I said, "You look great." And he said, "Thank you. I pay for it." And I remember he said that like he'd been thinking about it. And I said, "Man, you look great." And he goes, "Thank you. I pay for it." And I was thinking, he was ready for that response. And so I said, "Can I ask what that means?" He's like, "Oh, I pay for a trainer 7 days a week. So 7 days a week, I have a trainer, somebody who's a coach who pushes me." And I said, "You look great. You've had a trainer." This is a guy in his mid-40s. I'm like, "So you have a trainer 7 days a week?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Can I ask why?" And I kind of knew why, but it helps to hear it from somebody else. And he said, "Because if I don't, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to have the workout pants on, the workout shoes on. I'm going to be there, and I'm not going to work out. And if I do, I'm not going to push myself. And so I have a trainer that pushes me for 40 minutes a day and who pushes me." And I said, "What do you pay per session?" True story. He said, $100 a session. I said, "So you're spending per week $700 a week?" He said, Yeah, that's why I look like I do. I mean, that's something I've invested in. Now, again, I hear that all the time with people that have a great lawyer. They say, man, your legal systems are dialed in. They go, yeah, I pay for it. I have a lawyer. I see people that are phenomenal in the game of investing, and they go, yeah, I pay for it. I have a financial strategist. I think everybody in any area of our lives where we want to get better, we need to have a coach of some kind. Could you talk about the impact of having a coach, what that's done for you, having somebody like Andrew that actually gives a crap about your business, that actually is 100% focused on he meets you every week, knowing it's a flat rate, but also knowing that you have somebody that each week is going to follow up with you and make sure that all these systems are being implemented. Can you talk about the impact of that?
Yeah, it's huge. I'd say the biggest impact is probably every week, kind of pulling me out of turtle view and back up into kind of a looking further out. So like I'd commonly like for a long time, especially in the beginning, I was still doing a lot of technician work. Not so much anymore, but I was doing a lot of technician work. So it was like every Wednesday was like our call. That's like what got me back up to the point of thinking about, oh, okay, I'm actually building a company. Eventually we're gonna have somebody in this role. I'm not gonna have to do this forever, that kind of deal. But it's big. I'd say a lot of it's just like, of course, the accountability and getting numbers in your tracking sheet and stuff like that, so you know where you are and if you're gaining or not. But I'd say the bigger thing is like helping you get out of your own head and kind of see, at least for me, helping me get out of my own head and see that, oh, okay, I'm not trapped, and here's the next step I can do to get us a little bit further down the road. And he really kind of pulls that out because a lot of times I'll feel like I have no idea what to do next to keep growing the company. But in my conversation with him, a lot of times he can kind of pull that out just through us talking, and then it's like a lot more clear on how to keep growing.
I find it very interesting that all of the people I've met in my life who are very successful, they all have a coach, an advisor, or somebody that pushes them. The guy that I meet that has like the jacked up haircut is normally the guy that cuts his own hair. The guy that I meet that has a really, really nice car typically did not hand make the car. They typically reached out to someone who was proven to be an expert in the car making, and they bought the car from the Ferrari dealership, from the Lamborghini dealership. The guy who has the great haircut typically has a professional they're hiring. And in business out there, if you feel stuck, you've got to implement all these systems. So box number 10 and 11, box number 10, you've got to learn how to manage people. And that's not something that's normal, managing people. Do the people on your team know what their jobs are? And are they being held accountable for doing those jobs? Do the people on your team know what they're supposed to be doing? And are they doing those things? Could you talk about the impact of having a coach, how much that's made on your ability to manage people?
Yeah, that's another area that's really helpful because, I had no management experience prior to this. I don't connect with a lot of people very well either. So I don't, yeah, it was like basically every single week I just have a problem we go over with Andrew on like some kind of crazy thing that I didn't think people did, which is probably the most common thing. That's like, why is this like this is the job, this is all you got to do. Like, what's the problem here? But Andrew's very helpful in helping us figure out, how to manage people. I'd say a big part of helping me manage was helping me get the group interview going and rolling properly, because that has probably been the biggest influence on helping me manage people better, is maybe kind of moving some people out sooner and or moving some job shadows in, which kind of speeds people up then a little bit too. Yeah, but like none of that, I wouldn't have figured out any of that without him.
Now, we move on here to the final couple steps here. Is you have to create a repetitive weekly schedule. You have to schedule a time every week for the group interview, like we talked about, or your daily huddles. And that's something we work with, teaching our clients how to time block and build a schedule that works for them. Box number 12, teaching you how to hire and recruit great people. How do you hire, inspire, train, and retain great people? Box number 13, step number 13, you got to create an accounting system so you're actually aware of your money, where's it going. But all of this, the whole point of doing all this, box 14, is so that you can achieve success in the area of your faith, your family, your friendship, your fitness, your finances, your fun, your focus. And so I encourage everybody out there, make a list today. What are your goals for your faith, your family, your friendship, fitness, your finances, your fun, your focus? What are your goals for faith, family, friendship, fitness, finances, fun, focus? What are your goals? And then the business exists just to help you achieve those goals. And so my final two questions I'd have for you, the listeners out there know that we've helped you with accounting and branding and online ads and search engine optimization. But my final two questions for you would be this. If you could explain to somebody in 60 seconds or less-ish, What kind of an impact has weekly business coaching made on you and your business?
Yeah, it's made a huge impact. I mean, like I said, I don't think we would be anywhere close to where we are right now, if even still in business without it. It's like you guys have really helped just continue growing, because like without you guys we wouldn't have our website cranking, we wouldn't have a bunch of leads, we wouldn't have I'd probably be stuck in my own head, I'd probably still be stuck as a self-employed technician, and not have really figured out how to get out of that phase. Like I really think I'd be stuck there for many years without a weekly call.
Final question. There's somebody out there that is a big statistic guy. They want him to see stats. I'm not asking you for your private numbers, but as far as a percentage, how much have you grown since we met you? Are you up like 2%, 7%,
Yeah.
10%? What kind of a percentage, or how would you quantify that?
Yeah, when we met, we were probably at, I don't know exactly know what the percentage, but you could probably figure it out. When we met and first started with you guys, we probably had done like maybe 60 grand in a year. And we probably now do more like 2 million to 2.5 million in a year.
So you would say let's just do some math here. So if I take 2 million and I divide that by 60 grand, we could say you're up 33 times.
Yep.
That's an accurate number. You guys have grown 33 times. That's powerful. So I encourage everybody, go to thrivetimeshow.com. I have 2 calls to action for everybody out there today. First off, I want everyone to go to autoliftserve.com. And even if you don't know why, share this link on your socials, because what it does is it helps my wonderful client, Josiah. It helps Josiah to rank higher in the search engine results. So if you just share a link to autoliftserve.com, it does help him rank higher on the search results. Second thing, if you want to come to one of our in-person workshops, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. The tickets are always $250 or whatever price you can afford. So we've made it affordable for everybody. That's thrivetimeshow.com. They're $250 or whatever price you can afford. How would you describe the workshops? You've been to the workshops. You've done the 13-point assessment. How would you describe the free 13-point assessment and the workshops?
Oh, the workshops are a blast. It's like you're in a room with a ton of other people who want to do the same thing. And it's probably the most, I don't know. It's just excellent. Like you just got to go. Like you go in, there's the whole thing is very different. Like I've never seen anything like it. You get to see a bunch of people who, like I said, are kind of in the same boat as you, and meet them. And they're not normally just people who are kind of like, I'm just trying to sell insurance to this small group that you're somehow a part of in your town. But no, these are like people who are like really growing their companies. Like I can think of like Ryan Wells, for instance, grows like crazy. Like he's a ton of fun to talk to when we go down there. And I always get new ideas from it too. Cause I'm like, wow, we're really dropping the ball in this area and these guys are killing it. So it's awesome.
Well, congratulations on baby number 1. Thank you for carving out time for us. I encourage everyone one more time, folks, if you haven't checked out that website, it does help our wonderful client, Josiah Ragsdale, to rank higher if you visit that website. So you might say, how do I do it? All you got to do is just go on over there to Auto Lift. Let me pull it up again here. It's the domain is AutoLiftServe, AutoLiftServe.com, Auto, L-I-F-T, Serve, S-E, RV. If you go there, what it does is it helps our client rank higher in the search results if you share today's link, if you share a link to his website. So make sure you do that, folks. Again, Josiah, thank you so much for your time, sir, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Whoa. My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown 5 times. I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees, and now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new. And I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability. And it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrivetime it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrivetime show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome onto the Thrivetime show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6-7 years.
And, so many people reach out to me. I mean, literally every day. I just talked to a woman this morning. We get 10 to 20 people a day that reach out wanting to see if we can help them grow their companies. And we only work with 160 clients. And I do that because I want to only work with people that are super coachable. And so this woman on the call today was asking me, she said, well, what's the most important thing that you do, that you have to do to grow your company? And I was telling her, I said, that's kind of like asking a skilled chef, what's the most important ingredient to make great cookies? Is it flour? Is it eggs? Is it butter? It's like asking a home builder, what's the most important component to building a house? Is it the footings? Is it the frame? Is it the concrete? That's like asking, it's a great question, but really it's all of it. And so I really wanted to talk to you today about all of it, implementing all of it, growing MultiClean, how we've been able to do it. So first off, could you share what it's like to have a coach that works with you every week who's committed to helping you improve your business by 1 or 2% every week?
Well, Andrew is my coach. And the great thing about having him as the coach is he keeps me accountable. Because sometimes when you're the owner, there's no one to be accountable to. And he keeps me on track. He keeps me tracking sales, tracking wins. If we have a loss, he helps me figure out what happened. He just keeps me being consistent with our processes, with our systems, which before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place.